gives me a great pleasure to welcome all of you to this special lecture on role of youth towards a sustainable future. For delivering this lecture today, we have among us a special guest speaker, Shri Kartikeya V. Sarabhai. Shri Kartikeya Sarabhai needs no introduction. He is very well known and one of the most distinguished personalities of India. Here we have a short audio visual describing his achievements. Can we have the audio visual, please?
Padma Shri Kartikeya Sarabhai is one of the world's leading environmental educators and is the founder director of Center for Padma Shri Kartikeya Sarabhai is one of the world's leading environmental educators and is the founder director of Center for Environment Education. He is a dedicated community builder as well as an astute industrialist. He established the Center for Environment Education in 1984 to work towards developing programs and materials to increase awareness about environment and sustainable development. Sri Sarabhai was among the founders of the South and Southeast Asian Network for Environment Education, and he is currently the editor of the Journal of Education for Sustainable Development. He is the son of Padma Vibhushan Vikram Sarabhai, who was the father of India's nuclear energy and space program. He has set up several organizations that bridge the space between social and environmental development, including VICSAT, an NGO working to strengthen citizen participation in natural resource management, and Sundarvan, a nature discovery center. He was educated in Cambridge, UK, and went on to obtain a postgraduate degree from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. In 2012, he was conferred the Padma Shri Award for his work in environmental education by the President of India. We are honored to welcome Padma Shri Kartikeya Sarabhai.
I request Dr. Devang Joshi, Honorable Registrar CHARUSAT, to welcome Shri Sarabhai with a sapling. Thank you, sir. Now please join me in welcoming Padma Shri Kartikeya Sarabhai sir on stage, and I request sir to express his views on today's topic. Thank you.
Faculty, students, it's really a great pleasure to be with you here and see and get a small inkling of the fantastic work which is being done here. Today, as was mentioned, I'm going to take this subject of sustainability and take you through some of the thinking which we have done. It's an evolving subject in many ways, and I think there are very few people who truly understand what a sustainable society is going to be. If you were to ask ourselves that what will the world look like when all of you are my age, and it's very difficult to say that. Technologies which came and we saw them as being there for a while suddenly disappear. Yesterday someone was showing on TV a cassette and saying how many children today don't even know what this is, because it was there. The CD has gone off, we've got something else. Connectivity is very different. Children today don't type anymore, they talk to their computer, and it will become the main mode of communication. Things are changing very rapidly. But at the same time, the human basic instinct is very similar. From very old times to today, we still, as humans, don't change that fast. Our technology changes, our environment changes, and the whole issue is how do we do that? An organization called CEE, it was formed in the year 84, as was mentioned, when the Ministry of Environment was being formed in India. And the whole global consciousness of environment at that level really goes back to about 72, when in Stockholm, Sweden, the first meeting of the United Nations on environment was being held. It was held on June 5th. And you all know, perhaps many of you know, why that day is significant even today, because June 5th we mark as World Environment Day, but it was the day when that conference started in 72. And the Prime Minister of Sweden, Mr. Palme, invited global leaders to come from all over the world to come and be there. Only one leader accepted, and that was the Prime Minister of India. There was a discussion in India whether we should even go there. Many people said कि भाई आ બધા પ્રશ્નો તો આપણા નથી, તો developed countries ના પ્રશ્નો છે. They are not questions which relate to a developing country, because that time environment was mostly understood as pollution. The biggest thing, either pollution or destruction of wildlife. These were the two, understanding of environment was really these two things at that time. But it went there. So then slowly in 77 it was felt that education was critical. India took it up. By 84 we reached a realization that unless education is improved, you cannot solve problems only through passing legislation. And you cannot pass laws alone. Laws are of course very much required. So are new technologies. Today a scooter goes so many times more than a scooter did some time ago. Our LED bulb is consuming so much less than what the bulb just a few years ago which we consumed. And just by changing LED bulb, you probably saved electricity. But so in that era, 84, and that's how we are, we work all over India. But I wanted to start with understanding the population curve. The global population curve for millions of years had been a certain size. We probably, Homo sapiens probably came around 70,000 years ago. Even if you take, there were sort of smaller groups and bigger groups, but if you see the population right up to here, right up to the beginning of the industrial age, the population remained well below 1 billion. And then it starts shooting up. And will someone say what was one of the first triggers which shot it up? Can someone tell us? It was the discovery of modern medicine, and especially penicillin. We suddenly found, many of you perhaps are medical students, but many of you have found that the new medical revolution which took place with this discovery changed the entire equation. Things which we couldn't even imagine that someone could survive. Today we don't talk about cholera as a deadly disease. Cancer, yes. After a few years we will not talk about cancer that way either. There might be something else. But cholera or plague and all these diseases today is almost going out of our vocabulary as something we be scared of. Smallpox, there is I think only in one test tube somewhere the smallpox germ is still there, and they are wondering whether we should destroy it or not. But it is not part of something which you and I worry about. I'm not even sure whether they give smallpox vaccinations now or not. They don't now anymore. I think you probably don't have that. So this changed things, and as a result, as a result, the first billion population was reached in the 1800s. In 1804 was the first billion, and I have put over 13,000 years. I'm just taking a time when human beings really became very much like us. It could be actually millions of years. But interestingly, what happens thereafter is that the second was reached in 1927. So even when I was born, the population of the globe at the time of independence was something a little over 2 billion. Now the next one happens in only 32 years. The third billion gets added by 59. Then 15 years for the next billion. Then 13 and 12 years, and the projection is that we might be slowing down a little bit, but by 2024 will be the next billion, 18 billion. So that curve which you saw right at the beginning, this curve, you see what is happening. There's question marks at the end because we don't know where it is stabilizing. It will stabilize, but we don't know. The best case scenario is somewhere around 9 billion. somewhere around 9 billion. So within your lifetime, you will see that the population of the globe has forecast. Then thereafter it actually goes down. So if you take a country like Japan or something, the population is actually going down because people have less children. If you just ask your own families that what did my dada or my great dada have, how many children did they have, and how many did your parents' generation have, and how much are you likely to have, the number is likely to be pretty different. I mean, there are very few in this room who says I'm likely to have 8 children or 9 children. That's probably not even part of our thinking anymore. So we go to this, but what you see therefore is all these lines go like an S curve. They go up and then they flatten. They go up and then they flatten. And why do they start flattening? Because people, human beings, realize that the survival rate is much better. And when they realize the survival rate is better, they feel that even if I have 1 child or 2 children, that's fine. I'm not likely to lose the children. And for those of you who study nature, you can also see that in nature, wherever survival rate is bad, like say frogs or mosquitoes, the number of eggs they lay is directly dependent, proportional to the survival rate. So an elephant doesn't have to lay as many as crocodiles do, for instance. And that is the way it is. So humans take 2 generations to realize that medicine is now available. This is our problem. And education is there. So for 2 generations, medicine comes, population starts going down, it shoots up. So just now the thinking is that by now, most of the world will do, and hopefully at 9 or 10 is this estimate here. This also shows the same average years of schooling of women. One single thing which they have found is the most effective for curbing population is educating everyone, but educating women. If every girl was educated,